Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a B movie review and I'll be having a look at the movie Sharknado. So Sharknado is produced by the Asylum and was made for the Sci-Fi channel. And it's one of these films where it's kind of these sort of almost high concept films where you're really sort of going into it knowing it's a bit of a joke. And that's the whole premise that it's sort of playing on here, is that this is obviously meant to be a kind of a bad movie, if you like, and no one's going to sort of pretend anything otherwise. But it's trying to sort of almost build on that sort of reputation to sort of try and get people to watch it almost. So it's an interesting parallel because you've kind of got a lot of people sort of saying, oh yeah, you know, it's a great sort of like stupid idea, and it's a terrible movie, but it's good because of that. Now you can probably guess the plot from the name if you haven't already seen it. It's really a large sort of storm basically whips up all these sort of sharks from the ocean and kind of devastates the sort of Californian coastline basically, and all these sort of tornadoes kind of come inland, washing all these sharks aboard and sort of spinning them around, and so they're flying through the air basically, sort of eating people as they go. So this film obviously has got some stupid logic in it. But it's one of these films, again, they're not meant to be taking it seriously at all, but I think people can use that as an excuse at the same time. So logic completely goes out the window here, and so does good filmmaking. So, you know, the water level will rise dramatically from, you'll see sort of shots where it's, you know, that the water level is kind of at someone's ankles at one point, and then we'll see another shot and we'll get a kind of point of view of a shark in what looks to be like sort of 20 foot of water and things like that. The sky seemed to change from stormy weather to a perfectly sunny day. I see people sort of going about their everyday lives sort of in the background basically, and even in the foreground in some cases, where kind of people are completely unaware that this sort of tornado is essentially ripping apart Hollywood and Beverly Hills and whatnot. So, I mean, there's loads of examples. I could go on and hammer out that sort of thing. But there you go. You kind of know what you're getting when you're watching a film called Sharknado. And obviously, we've seen this before. And we had kind of like the mega shark versus the giant octopus, whatever it was called, stuff like that. So this was the kind of what it was doing for a few movies, having these sort of giant sort of monsters versus one another. And now I got a feeling we're going to kind of get this sort of a combination of two different things like sharks and tornadoes. And I know the next film that the Asylum is going to do is one called Ghost Shark. Now, does it make it an entertaining movie because it's so bad? I watch a lot of B movies, and I gotta say, this probably wasn't, I have to be honest with you. Yeah, you could watch it purely because the concept is so ridiculous and probably get a kick out of it. But if you're just kind of watching it, it's such a badly made film anyway, it really just detracts from any sort of enjoyment you kind of might get from the cheese factor. Like I said, there's so many sort of bad filmmaking examples here that it just doesn't make it an entertaining film, I don't think. You know, you kind of might get a giggle on it watching it for a few minutes, but I don't think it's a particularly enjoyable film to watch for the whole length of the film. There's no real surprises here. There's some, I guess some of the water effects don't look too bad once in a while, but that's pretty much the only thing I'll sort of say really positive about the effects. And all the sharks sort of pretty much CGI. There's a couple of we see a couple of examples of stock footage both for sharks and sort of emergency services and stuff like that. The cast are pretty much all unknowns apart from sort of Tara Reid really, who's sort of this bitchy ex-wife of kind of the main hero guy. And you know, she doesn't really have much to do, to be honest with you, but apart from kind of follow the group around, and the plot really resolves around this kind of group of people from this bar really who get away to high ground and on the way to collect this sort of the main guy's sort of family. But it's completely forgettable stuff. I mean, these big movies we've seen, as I say, some are kind of memorable because some have a kind of certain type of charm. I think this one doesn't. 3 out of 10. So 3 out of 10 are pretty much forgettable and pretty much dire film, I have to say. I kind of like some of these schlocky films, but this one just not an entertaining film, unfortunately. So 3 out of 10 for me. What did you think of it? How did you feel it compares to the other kind of like high concept movies? Leave me a comment and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.